right past the racetrack there, and that whole I-35 corridor north of 1604 is where we have the potential for those straight line winds and even a tornado as well. Steve?
What's the timing on this tornado warning?
The timing of the tornado warning, I believe here, I'll get it for you right now. It expires at 10 p.m. Okay. So that's another half hour almost.
Yeah, are you still concerned about the storms coming up behind us? Are you still concerned we're looking at a 1-2 punch here with these storms?
Well, we're going to see more rainfall, which would add to the flooding potential.
Yeah.
So yes, especially in regards to that. As for the severity of the storms, I am definitely a little worried about this one that's just southwest of San Antonio, moving into Natalia, Divine, Bigfoot. We're talking north of Pearsall. This is one with some large hail as well. And this will likely be moving through Atascosa County, northern Atascosa County, and parts of southern Bexar County. So there is more activity that's out there. And then look at this. There you go, Steve. You go farther to the west. We're in for what could be a longer night across South Texas. Sorry, wrong button. Across South Texas, just because we've got a new severe thunderstorm warnings where this all developed earlier today. It started at 4 o'clock in Mexico, and then the activity starts, moves eastward, develops even further, and this is the third round or fourth round for parts of Valverde County, but now just north of Del Rio. So yeah, I am concerned even through the night. We have to keep an eye on it and have your phone handy.
And just to be clear, what you're seeing out there in Del Rio, it seems far away right now, but it does have the potential to move in as we go into the overnight hours.
Yes, good point. And those of you in the hill country that have been watching, haven't gotten anything yet, well, here it comes. It's starting north of Del Rio now, moving toward Rock Springs, then thereafter moving into parts of Kerr County. So we are expecting further development through the night. So often you see us on here and, hey, it's moved through, we're done, good night, everybody. And we got to keep watching through the night. We have to keep watching this. We're all here, and even Mike Osterhage is coming in extra early, what some of us would just consider late at night. He'll be coming in extra early. These are the two primary storms we're watching. Putting on actually, I'm going to switch to the threats here for this one to the south, because those of you watching us in Divine and Natalia, more Bigfoot, hail, probably about 1.5 inches in diameter, I would estimate, but let's see what the radar product says here, see what it's estimating. It's saying 1.5 inches in diameter, so we're about ping pong ball size hail. That's enough to cause a lot of damage. I know there are some folks living along this I-35 corridor, more so over the past couple of years as we've developed southward, so a lot more people being affected by this, and you get more car dealerships that pop up, and here we go, we've got some large hail that's moving in, and even a little bit of rotation, some straight line winds possible here, maybe some 60 to 75 mile per hour gusts near Moore and Divine. And here we go. This severe thunderstorm warning just got extended, which now does include Bexar County. And I know a lot of folks on the south side missed out on the rain, south side of San Antonio in particular. Here it comes, because this warning just got extended eastward. The new warning includes downtown southward, south on I-37, downtown, basically picture the Alamo Dome, and south on I-37, and south on 281, and south on I-35. That's till 10:30 p.m.
Yes, and that storm is moving to the east at 40 miles per hour, Adam. But I want to, if you can, I'd love to be able to focus a little bit more on the tornado-warned storm up to the north and to the east after you talk about those times there. In Castroville at 9:43, it's already pretty much there. Near Elmendorf around 10:30 this evening. So that's for that severe storm warning with large hail. But then this tornado warning to the northeast, Adam, there are indications that there could be some debris as the correlation coefficient, what we use to determine if there is debris, it's lowering a little bit, just to give you a heads up.
And that would be this neighborhood moving into the neighborhood or city of Comal and North Cliff, Wheel Road, where the green and the red come together. This is the potential tornado. We mentioned Garden Ridge earlier, how it was moving in, got loud. It's still loud, Garden Ridge. This is all moving to the northeast. That's the potential tornado. That's that rotation that's heading basically paralleling I-35, and it's just to the west of I-35. Here's what I like to do. Where these colors come together, we've talked about this all night. This is where we have the potential tornado, okay? This is the way it's moving. And now I'm going to turn off all these colors so you can get a sense of what we're exactly looking at here. This is heading toward New Braunfels, okay? And New Braunfels, you are within the tornado warning. Well, even the circulation there looks like it's headed your way. Right now,
your advice to people in New Braunfels:
seek shelter, interior room, away from windows. Get as far away from the outside as you can, and stay away as far away from windows. If you can, a closet. Those are usually the best. If you have two-story house, underneath the stairwell in that closet. Sarah.
And bright power flashes have been reported near the Garden Ridge area, so that would indicate the potential for a tornado there.
That's this area. We have that big quarry just west of I-35. It's about to cross over the big quarry, the one that you can see from the interstate. It's about to cross over that. Ogden, that neighborhood. I've circled the tornadic area. Coyote Run, FM 482, Corbin. Those of you, Coyote Run, okay? This is I-35, so this is I-35. It's right off just north and west of I-35. I switched over to the aerial imagery to give you a sense of landmarks. Then we get closer to New Braunfels, and you see more structures and more neighborhoods into the New Braunfels area. That is right there the primary area of concern.
A lot of development going on in the Garden Ridge area as you go to Garden Ridge between New Braunfels, a lot of homes, a lot of neighborhoods being put in there. So there's a lot of people right now that need to seek shelter as they're watching us.
Yes, absolutely. And not only the tornado threat, but even large hail embedded within that. And we're not discounting folks that are on the south side, or I guess you could say east side there of I-35, so the Selma area included. But I do think the most severe part of this is just north of Cibolo and just north of Marion. And that's where we have the primary threat of the tornado, with that significant rotation here within this storm. And there are those colors that come together, and we're getting closer to the New Braunfels radar site. Once we're on top of it, we're going to lose some of the data. This is the street that we're watching, just out of Garden Ridge. And here we go, FM 482, Coyote Run. We've had more development out here lately. Corbin, right? Corbin, that's an area included here. And then you get to I-35 and Schwab Road. That's where this is headed, I-35 and Schwab Road, and especially Schwab Road, just north and northwest of I-35. That's the potential tornado.
And just some tips, again, tornado safety. You know, we really don't get that many tornado warnings around here. It's important to be in the lowest floor in an interior room. Put as many walls between you and the potential tornado as possible, as Adam is showing right there. Again, it's important, even if you are under a tornado warning, why not go ahead and put a helmet on? Especially for the little kids, put a helmet on, a bike helmet on, maybe go out to your garage briefly and get that. And then again, if you happen to know anybody who might be driving around in that tornado warned area, you're going to want to tell them to drive to the nearest shelter immediately. That could be a gas station, but it is definitely not a good idea to be under an overpass, as that can actually be pretty dangerous. And Adam again is showing you right there the most interior room without windows. Put as many walls between you and the potential tornado as possible. Adam.
Yeah, absolutely. Great advice there, Sarah. And that's what everybody along I-35 from Selma, Cibolo area, the racetrack all the way up to through New Braunfels needs to be seeking that type of shelter as we speak. This is moving to the northeast at 35. We're going to time it out for you now that we've seen basically where that has moved and that development of the rotation and that potential tornado. Here you have it here, moving to the northeast at 35. New Braunfels, looks like that rotation would be near you at about 10 o'clock. That's what we were talking earlier, maybe a little bit sooner. Martindale at about 10:37. And that's just the rotating part of the storm and that potential tornado. So anybody in and around New Braunfels and Green, also Green, City of Green, you got to seek shelter.
And, we are seeing that rotation weaken slightly, but as is the case with these tornado warnings, oftentimes you get pulses. Sometimes the rotation will be tighter, other times it'll weaken. Again, we don't have a confirmed tornado on the ground, but we do have a lot of indications that say that this could have potentially dropped very quickly. Just a brief tornado, such as the power flashes that we're seeing out near the Garden Ridge area, and potential debris signature every now and then. And again, this area in the red polygon that you see here, that's for the New Braunfels area, just to the east of Garden Ridge. This tornado warning is in effect until 10 p.m. We are seeing signs that the rotation could be weakening, but that does not mean that you are in the clear yet. It just means that you need to stay inside until 10 o'clock this evening for that potential tornado near the right now, it looks like more so the rotation is closer in Comal County, just to the west of New Braunfels. So if you're in New Braunfels, if you're in Green, if you're in northern Guadalupe County, I know that the area of Schertz, someone might be underneath that potential tornado warning, but those areas are in the clear at the moment. Adam.
Yep, you hit it right on the head there. It looks like the threat is moving away from the Schertz and Selma area, and mainly staying just north or west of I-35. That's where the primary tornado threat is. Now, those of you up to Canyon Lake, you've got some very heavy rainfall. A lot of lightning, a lot of thunder. It's loud. The rain's coming down pretty hard. Flashes of lightning. Some thunder may even rattle the house a little bit, especially near Bulverde. But Bulverde, you can rest assured that the worst is moving away from you at the moment. So it's moving out of Bulverde, but right along the county line, it's moving through eastern Comal County. So the rest of Comal County is starting to get the heavy rainfall. You get the heavy rainfall. Those of you in New Braunfels then could get the wind gusts after the heavy rainfall. After the heavy rain gets a little louder, and that would be a result of some of the wind. And I-35, if we have any cameras along here, especially in New Braunfels, or just south of New Braunfels, then we would definitely see the wind start, or the rain start coming sideways, like we were seeing earlier downtown San Antonio, that wind or the rain just moving sideways because of the wind. But in San Antonio, we have a few more showers that are moving in from the west, another thunderstorm here. This activity is severe along and basically along and south of Highway 90 in San Antonio. That's the next threat, moving into Somerset, Von Army, and basically then the Palo Alto College area. I-35 south of downtown, and 1604 from Elmendorf all the way over to just south of SeaWorld, Elmendorf to Highway 90. That's the main threat in San Antonio. Poteet, you're also included within that severe thunderstorm warning. Don't want to forget about the folks down to or Poteet, you're right on the edge of it, I should say. It's mainly to the north of you, but that includes 281 south of downtown, almost to Pleasanton. Primary threat, though, remains just near and approaching New Braunfels. We mentioned the rotation not being quite as well defined. It's still there, so it still poses a risk. And we've talked about this a few times, how these tornadoes can skip. They'll drop, pop up, drop, and they don't necessarily make a clear path. They'll skip across the ground, and that's what this one could very well be doing, assuming that we actually have a touchdown with it, which it sounds like we have evidence at least of a potential touchdown. So this could be one of those skippers, ones that skip. And I circled it. We're going to go back to our actual aerial imagery, because a lot of you like to look at maps and know where your neighborhood is just by looking at the aerial imagery. You've got Champions Village, T-Bar M Ranch Estates, and you got Highland Park into New Braunfels. That's where this storm is heading. Dittlinger, Big Quarry area pushing off to the northeast, and then toward the city of Green as well, and Garden Park. So this is mainly along and north or west, if you will, of Interstate 35. Not only that, you can anticipate some power outages as well within this vicinity, not just because of rain, but also because of the lightning. So the north side of San Antonio just had a lot of lightning, and now we're starting to see that transition eastward along the I-35 corridor, but especially just to the north and west of I-35. You want to see how much lightning has been coming down over the past hour? We'll just put this into motion. You see those white lines? They indicate cloud to ground lightning strikes, and they indicate it for a 15-minute interval. So that's how many lightning strikes went from the cloud and struck somewhere on the ground just over that time period. So that's why we have our power outages around San Antonio. You look just at this storm. Sorry, I mentioned the power outages. Now, Canyon Lake, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. Basically from Garden Ridge to New Braunfels to Canyon Lake, that whole Smithson Valley area, you're all included within the severe thunderstorm warning, even if you don't have the tornadic rotation, which is still here where I circled near I-35. So if you're in Canyon Lake, Smithson Valley area, Bordeaux, Vintage Oaks, Startsville, you could still have straight line wind gusts in excess of 50 to 60 miles per hour, maybe even in excess of 60, and even some large hail. Just right now, within the past 15 minutes, this whole area, this whole storm has had 118 cloud to ground lightning strikes. Of those, 5 of them were positively charged and the polarity was positive. That's important to us because those are the ones that really rumble, and they are the most powerful ones and the strongest lightning strikes, some of which can cause attic fires and house fires. We see that whenever we have a lot of lightning. That is just one of those side effects that unfortunately is very isolated, not a big concern or something to be concerned about, but sometimes happens in these situations. I want to go back to our hail threat as well. We still have that tornado threat, of course, right along and just north of I-35, but within that area, also a big threat of hail. Champions Village. This is 46, just north of New Braunfels, and that 46 corridor is where we have some of the largest hail likely at the moment. So that's this white area, Bear Creek Estates. You could have hail up to about 3 inches in diameter within that area, and that's that white spot that's moving toward New Braunfels and the city of Greene. T-Bar M Ranch area, Bear Creek Estates, Krista Mar Cliffs, Bear Creek Hills, Second Crossing, First Crossing, River Road, and 337 that goes around New Braunfels, 337 on the, around basically the north side of New Braunfels. That's all headed your way. That large hail is headed your way along with the rotating part of the thunderstorm and that potential for hail. It does look like we have some small hail that could clip Canyon Lake, but those of you immediately on Canyon Lake, it looks like most of that's going to be just south of you, Smithson Valley, and basically along 44, or 46, I should say, along 46. 46 and I-35 is right now the intersection, or not I-35, but basically 46 and just north of I-35. That's the area where we have most of the intensity with this storm, including the largest hail and that potential tornado. So that's along 46.
It's really like New Braunfels all the way to Smithson Valley on 46. It's basically New Braunfels to Smithson Valley on 46 is almost what you're talking about, the heart of this storm right now.
Exactly. A very scenic drive, a nice area, beautiful area.
That caverns over there.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of beautiful area.
Yes, and that's where the heart of this storm is, not just the tornadic rotation, but even the potential for that large hail. We're going to get back to this storm in a second. I want to go, those of you just north of Helotes, you got some heavy rain, that's it. Here's another severe thunderstorm that's moving into Bexar County, even Lacoste, Lytle, Somerset, Von Army. This is all headed your way. Devine, it looks like it's just moving past you. You're going to get clipped by another portion of it. And we're watching that little appendage there for what could become some rotation. So this cell as well could be problematic in terms of maybe kicking up some rotation at some point, which we were watching earlier, and we mentioned that when it was farther to the west. And then, yes, Sarah.
That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 10:30.
Okay, so that one's in effect until 10:30, and we have more development out west. Right now, no warnings with this activity that's moving into the hill country, moving from Valverde County into the hill country, but it's more activity that needs to be watched and monitored that could develop into stronger thunderstorms and severe activity. Putting this into motion here. See how it all develops out west. Mexico, moves eastward. Sometimes this really rapidly intensifies as it gets into the lower elevations and crosses the Rio Grande. So we had that warning earlier. Right now, we don't have a warning out west, which is good news. Nonetheless, we have our own activity in and around here. This is the evolution of that storm. And here's something interesting I can point out is we talked about hail and how we now have the areas of hail. Here's the track of hail from this storm. Just within this radar view, there's a big track of hail, the hail swath that goes up through northern San Antonio, the biggest right near Leon Valley, moving through the medical center, and then Chavano Park area, Hollywood Park. And now it looks like the hail has intensified a little bit as it's moved into that 46 corridor. 46, there's some larger hail there. That's where it has moved to. Bear Creek Hills, yeah.
And we do have a report of 1-inch hail at 46 T-bar M, which is that area you're talking about. Yep.
Yep.
Also, the CPS Energy outage map has jumped up to more than 34,000 customers right now affected by outages. 34,431 of CPS Energy, so that's basically in San Antonio.
Yeah, that's outside of this storm. They're not,
right.
This storm not even affecting that. That's from this storm as it moved through with all of its lightning that we were showing you earlier. I want to see what kind of velocities we have here. Now on the north side of this warning near Green is where I see most of the rotation near the city of Green there. That's where we have first crossing River Road. So River Road, familiar to a lot of folks. 337, you got 337, you go by the high school and whatnot. Take River Road northward, right? So past the home of the unicorns, you go River Road northward, and that's the area where we have the rotation, basically on the northern fringe right now, it looks like, of that warning. But elsewhere within that warning, of course, some straight line winds are possible, and I mean some strong straight line winds possible with that. And we keep checking our KSAT Connect to see if any new pictures and stuff have come in from the aftermath when people have gone out to see what's happened. And so far, we haven't had any damage reports from the storms other than some dents in cars, of course, from the large hail. But otherwise, no structural damage yet that we've seen, but we're keeping an eye out for it around Hondo and D'Hanis especially, and even over towards Sabinal. And now Garden Ranch area, now that the threat, or Garden Ridge area, now that the threat is past your neck of the woods, you go outside. If you have any damage, our KSAT Weather Authority app, on the bottom part, pins, and you can post your photo as well. You can post that there, and we can share it with everybody. So this is the primary threat with large hail now. In more of a rural part of Comal County, nonetheless, there are structures, some farms and ranches, and we got pastures there, and we have some folks that are north of New Braunfels outside that outer loop there, outside of 337, and that's where we have some of the heaviest hail. And that hail is moving right from River Road to FM 306 and 1102. Okay, so not quite the most populated part of New Braunfels, but nonetheless near some folks' homes.
And we do have another tornado warning out there, Adam, in Comal County and in Guadalupe County. This one is until 10:30. It also extends into Hays County, so the San Marcos area, again, until 10:30. Even though the rotation is weakening slightly, there's still possible to get another one of those potentially drop-down brief tornadoes there. This one is moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. Again, the warning in effect until 10:30.
And that's that new polygon that...
Exactly, that new red polygon there in Comal County. It does include New Braunfels and just to the east of Canyon Lake area, also including San Marcos.
And the primary threat with that would be one of those brief little touchdown, pick up, kind of skips along the ground. Still no tornado warnings on the storm that's moving into southern Bexar County. We know that's crossing I-35 right now. That's a severe thunderstorm, large hail, possibly the size of golf balls associated with that. Elsewhere, we've got the large hail and the tornado risk throughout northern Guadalupe County, and now we've got basically northeastern Comal County.
And we got Our friend Becky from
Okay.
our sales department just sent an email out that at their house in New Braunfels, Mission Hills Ranch on 46, golf ball sized hail.
There we go. That's confirmation of that large hail within there. Golf ball size hail. I mean, we're talking 1.75 inches in diameter. So just about 2-inch diameter hail confirmed with this severe thunderstorm that's moving through Comal County, clipping New Braunfels, and especially along and west of I-35. That's where we have the heart of this storm right now, with rotation embedded with it, the potential for a tornado to pop down at any moment. This is moving to the northeast at 35 miles per hour. Still have that active tornado warning in effect. And then we also have the severe thunderstorm that's moving into southern Bexar County and the south side of San Antonio.
Hail, high winds, sheets of rain. For the last few hours, Bexar County saw some severe storms along with a large part of the KSAT viewing area. And here at KSAT, we've been following it all.
We have crews who have been following the storms tonight, surveying some of the damage and debris resulting from tonight's severe weather.
And right now, let's start in the studio. We have Adam Caskey, Katie Blake, Sarah Spivey.
Yeah, our entire weather team has been following this all night. Let's go ahead and start with Adam. And Adam, we've been under a few warnings tonight. Where do we stand as of right now?
We still have severe thunderstorm warnings, especially in Comal County and northern Guadalupe County, but also southern Bexar County. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect, and that includes the south side of San Antonio, particularly along the I-35 corridor. Now that you get the general motion of these storms, I'm going to stop the loop and focus right now on large hail, about the size of golf balls, and the potential for a tornado. We're talking north side of New Braunfels, and especially just north of 337 here in New Braunfels, and toward Royal Forest, headed towards San Marcos, and this is just on the edge of Canyon Lake. So this purple area north of New Braunfels, that's where we have what's likely the golf ball size hail embedded within this storm and that potential for a tornado. We go to the south side of San Antonio, even downtown, got another round that's moving in. This could have some large hail as well, likely has large hail associated with it. This is moving to the northeast, just like the other one at about 35 miles per hour. So let's just pop up the hail along with the radar. The white is going to indicate the hail, the main hail within the storm, which is near Natalia at this time. And let's just time out the hail, because that's what, of course, one of the primary threats with this. Northeast at about 35, and that would bring the hail to Somerset at 1026, Elmendorf a little closer to 11 p.m., China Grove closer to 11 p.m., but even Somerset momentarily 1026 is when you could have that hail. Natalia, of course, more momentarily as well. That's just with the hail associated with that storm. We have other storms that have been developing off to the west. This isn't just a one and done situation. We're looking at the potential for multiple severe thunderstorms into the night and early morning hours, switching radars back to Brackettville and Del Rio. There you have it. There's more activity that continues to pop up. At any point, this stuff can strengthen and give us some damaging winds, large hail, and maybe even a brief tornado, as we have seen. Speaking of hail, take a look at this hail swath from the storm that is now over Comal County. This is the hail that it dropped earlier today from basically Del Rio and Uvalde area eastward. Big hail swaths out there from these storms so far tonight, and we're seeing more of that fall down. Not everybody's going to be getting the big hail. Fortunately, not everybody gets it, but even within San Antonio, you look at this swath of hail, especially the west side of town, SeaWorld, up to Leon Valley. Then you get to Medical Center, you get to Chavano Park, Hollywood Park, Stone Oak area, Garden Ridge, and even the potential for that tornado within near this large hail on the north side of New Braunfels. Basically between New Braunfels and Canyon Lake, that's the biggest threat at the moment. We don't want to discount the heavy rainfall, as we've seen a lot of that, and we have had some water rescues because we've had a lot of rainfall, and I do think we'll add more to it. But you look at just the 12-hour rain. I know those of you at Elmendorf, China Grove, southeast side of San Antonio, where's my rain? It's missed you so far, but you've got that next storm that's moving in. So far, Medical Center area, and even on the west side of town, we've seen these rainfall accumulations on the order of 2 to 3.5 inches within this yellow swath. So that's what we've seen, and we're going to add a little bit more to it, and we still have the more potential all the way through about the 4 a.m. hour.
We want to head to Justin Horn, who has been in Storm Chaser all evening. We understand, Justin, you are at 410 and Bandera. What are you seeing there?
It looks like the shot just froze on Storm Chaser, but he earlier saw a basically water rescue. Somebody drove into water that was over the hood of the car, basically stalled out, and actually a guy with a chain hooked his pickup up and pulled the car out. And I saw him tweet just moments ago, somebody else is driving right into the high water in the 410 Culebra, 410 Bandera area. So Justin Horn is kind of stuck out in that area with all the high water. We're going to check in with him a little bit earlier.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, we do have crews out tracking these storms tonight. We're getting some reports of some minor damage in various parts of town tonight in our viewing area.
Yeah, let's check in with the night team's Jonathan Cotto, who is live. He is out and about. I know, Jonathan, at one point you were responding to one of these many water rescues. Where are you at right now, and what is it like?
Steve, I'm out here in Leon Valley, right off of Heath Road, where at the distance, as you can see, this road is completely at a standstill. We have SAPD here keeping any traffic from going past this point. Now, as you can see, water level is pretty deep. We can only assume that it's pretty deep from this distance. And at the distance, there's currently a water rescue underway. Police have told us that they haven't been able to get to the car. The car is still in the water. Water is about up to halfway above the car. We can't tell you what kind of car it is at the moment, but this is an example of what those heavy rains from earlier has caused. Now, we will be staying here on live. We're going to be keeping up with police and their reports as to how this water rescue will unfold. Steve.
All right, Jonathan, keep us updated on exactly what's going on out there. But as you're making your way out there, Jonathan, what did you see? What did you guys experience weather-wise making your way out to the Leon Valley area?
Steve, you know, as we were making our way down to Leon Valley, we noticed that there are just the accumulation of water, pockets of water along the shoulders of roadways, which are presenting a bit of a hazard for drivers. So driving with caution is highly advised as motor vehiclists are making their way either to home or from work, or it is advised to stay at home. But that's something that we did notice, the accumulation of water along the shoulders of the roadways.
All right, Jonathan Cotto live in Leon Valley. We'll probably check in with you again before this newscast is over. Thank you, Jonathan. With the storms come power outages, and we have seen the number of power outages just grow throughout the evening. Here's a live look at the CPS Energy power outage map. Right now, you can see there are more than 100 active outages, 32,913 customers affected. Right now, if you see any damaged power lines, call 911, or you can call CPS Energy at 210-353-4327. Remember, you want to treat all downed wires as if they are live.
We also want to give you a live look right now at the Bexar County flood map. This shows the emergency road closures due to the flooding. This is something we've also been monitoring all night. At one point, it was as low as 12. Right now, those little red dots on your screen, those are all road closures. That number now stands at 32. So remember, if you see water on the road, as we always say, turn around, don't drown. And as always, we'll have all the latest on the storm and the storm damage both on air and online at ksat.com. We'll be right back.